Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to our Juneteenth Digital Talk playback. My name is Ashley Thomas. I'm the co-founder of Muse, the Miami Urban Contemporary Experience, and I'm so excited to be here with you for our final episode of our Juneteenth playback. Over the last 9 weeks, we have been having conversations with experts in their fields around the Second Amendment, Black maternity, housing, land, prosperity, and today we're talking about education. Is the public school on fire? I don't know. That's a great question. As an educator, I have all my concerns. As parents out there, you may have concerns. As people thinking about higher education and the value of it now, especially when it comes for Black people, people of color, underrepresented communities, how is it of value to us? And is it working for us? And if it's not, what can we do to make it work? So that's the conversation today. We're going to have a wonderful speaker, Dr. Harrison, on today. She's an expert in her field to give us some tips on things we can do to make our educational system work for us. We have a fantastic visual artist on, as well as a great vendor today and a performance for you all, of course, because Muse is about art and it wouldn't be art without art, right? Why did we do these Juneteenth playbacks? Well, June 19th is Juneteenth. I know we went all the way through the summer. It was the final day in which the final person in America was actually free. Black people were enslaved in this country, forced to do labor against their will, and the Emancipation of Proclamation happens. And in Texas, 1865, June 19th, the final Black people in the country are allowed to own themselves and own their freedom. Of course, it takes another 100 years through the civil rights movement before that freedom actualizes, and another 70 or up till now, for us to continue to fight for that liberty. We've seen many advances and much progress, and we know there's lots more work to do. So this is a never-ending journey for us. We want to show you a little bit of what happened that night on Juneteenth. We decided to have a celebration in honor of our ancestors and also a memorial for the many victims of police brutality. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery had just been murdered. And we wanted to just have a safe space for us to heal and to cry as a community and to become whole again. So we're going to show you that video. We want to let you know that these talks are also brought to you by the GMCVB Art of Black Miami. So you check out everything artofblackmiami.com. Miami Art Week is here in December. Basel may not be, but we are still here and we are still getting down with Art Week. So we want you to come out, Art of Black Miami, and see all of our heritage neighborhoods and all of the wonderful richness that is in there. And it's also supported by the Knight Foundation. So Muse and Muse Educates are winners of the Knight's Arch Challenge. This is a part of our challenge. All right, let's watch that video. Our Juneteenth playback featuring No More Blues by Sandino Timmy. Exhibition along with wonderful vendors and powerful imagery. Take it away.
Once again, welcome back to the Muse campus and welcome to No More Blues. We're glad to present No More Blues to make sure that at the end of the day, we know that art plays a significant role when it comes to social justice, when it comes to human rights. Art has always been in the forefront.
This show is a compilation of images of a 2013 protest that happened in Miami. It was ignited after the murder of Trayvon Martin and the rendering of the case not guilty to the plaintiff.
Like, the feedback has been really good, and it has been a conversation piece, which is what I wanted for like this gallery. Because when I looked at all the pictures, I saw rainbows of people coming together for like their brown brothers and sisters that are being oppressed, abused by systematic oppression.
What actually inspired me to do this piece, it's actually the death of George Floyd in those nasty conditions. And just to say something that Black Lives Matters.
What does Black Lives Matter mean to me? The fact that I'm even saying it makes no sense. Why should anyone have to even say those words? It should be a given.
No one's life is worth less than another one. So in terms of race or in terms of like in any term, since we are human, we should share like the same rights and the same privilege.
So when Black people are free, all people can be free. We say their name so that they have an action to that freedom. We say their name so that our ancestors know we haven't forgotten the work that they have done for us. That's what Black Lives Matter. We know it matters. We want to let the world know and remind them, just in case they forgot, just in case they forget the many contributions that our culture makes to the world. We just want to remind them vocally and powerfully.
I pray for my kids every day because I want them to feel like they could go outside and not have to be afraid to walk the streets or not to be afraid to ask a police officer for help.
I think art really tells the narrative of our humanity, of our society. Throughout history, like you can find many examples of artists, even with commission work, that would sneak in like the truth of what's happening. And I feel like with this work here, it's very relevant as well, because with the art, like we have the liberty of actually saying the truth and painting it and actually feeling what's going on around us.
And here it is, like from 2013 to here we are 2020, we're back here the same situation. Again, it makes no sense. It's senseless. We're blaming the cops, but I feel that the cops are really nothing but a scapegoat. It's the system. It's the judicial system that really, right now, that should be on trial.
My name is Oliga, and I'm here at the Muse campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sandino Timmy, and you can see me at the Muse campus.
Stay tuned. News 305. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, so this is full circle, a full circle of our Juneteenth edition. So a part of our Juneteenth experience was all of our experts coming to talk. So we're bringing it to you digitally right here at our digital playbacks. And so we're going to get right into our show. I'm going to bring on a wonderful human being, an expert in her field, Dr. Jaminique Harrison. She's a lifelong educator with more than 14 years of experience as an academic manager, instructor, tutor, writer, presenter, and educational consultant. For the past 5 years, she has served as a higher education leader, focusing her efforts on intercultural issues and students' success strategies for underserved communities specifically. She is dedicated to serving under-resourced communities in order to help individuals live up to their full academic, social, financial, and spiritual potential. Please, everyone, welcome Dr. Harrison to the stage with me.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Harrison. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. It's such an honor to have you on the show right now. I'd say like one of those things, she's a fellow Seminole. So we actually went to undergrad together. So to see your evolution and your growth is so powerful. And I feel so blessed, to have you here. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I want to jump right into the questions. So I want you to tell us about your journey, who you are, where you're from, like what's your heritage, and what propelled you into education, like your journey from, youthful pre-Dr. Harrison all the way to who Dr. Harrison is right now in education.
Okay, so I'll keep it short. I have always been an educator through and through. I was first raised in Texas. Well, sort of. I was born in Texas. My mom is from there, and my father was in the military. So I pretty much spent my childhood moving all around the world. In Texas, ended up in Germany for 4 years. So I spent some formative years there. And then we moved to Georgia, and through all of those journeys, the common thread has always been my love for education knowledge, and in particular, the knowledge of underserved communities, especially the Black and Brown communities of the United States, really came to the forefront when I moved back from Germany to the United States. And I had to learn quite a few things about what it meant to be Black in the United States because I hadn't experienced that on military bases. And so first I learned that I was Black. I thought that was interesting. And when I was in Germany, I was just American. So it was a transition then. And then in school, there was really this emphasis, particularly in Georgia. I was in Savannah, the Savannah, Georgia area, the deep South, Oglethorpe, Cotton Nation, Georgia. There were several race riots when I was in school. At school, I can remember in particular there were these Dixie Outfitter shirts, and one of the shirts that they wore one year was, "This shirt is 100% cotton," and on the back it said, "And it was picked by your mama." And so,
Wow. Hold on. That's traumatizing. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, this is in education, so it's like
yeah,
it's relevant. I'm like, how do you deal with that, and what does that do to your psyche, and how do you grow up feeling a sense of ownership of self when those things are? That's not even a microaggression. That's an overt attack on your character.
yes, that is a good question, because I would say to that, everybody responded to it differently, and that's how I found my calling. So first there were the fighters. When the shirts came out, the fighters came up and they did their thing. There was an all-out brawl at our school that day when those shirts were worn, and those were the fighters. They did what they felt at that time. I learned that I was the activist. Um, I wasn't going to fight at the school, but what I did do was I ran for class president. I ran for student council president, won both, worked with the administration to make sure the rules were fair, and brought the concerns of at least the African American and or brown students to their attention. So that experience catapulted me, at least, into this world of being an advocate, particularly for people who can't express themselves perhaps the way I was expressing myself, and or advocate for themselves. And ever since then, I haven't stopped talking since, and helping people in those communities, helping my fellow community, and in turn learning more and more about myself, where I come from, and my heritage. So I am
Mm.
happy to at least be blessed to be in this position to continue to be an advocate, especially in education.
So in your 14 years in education, I'm sure you've experienced so many of the great things and solutions that have been happening, and you've probably been able to really tackle or pinpoint some of the problems that we're having in, I'm going to say, public education, and I'll even go as far as higher ed. So why is public school struggling? It's the struggle right now, and it's coincidental. I am an educator. I won't be I'm in the public school system for a year and a few months now, and I will not be returning after Friday. And so it's just a mere coincidence that this particular show is the same last week of my time at the school. So mere coincidence for any teacher watching. But
Yes.
it's been my administration works really hard through all of these challenges. The teachers work really hard through these challenges. Mm-hmm. It's like this invisible realm of something that we can't get past. The struggle. Is it where we are? Is it because we're Title I? Are all schools having these challenges? But what are those things that you go, no, these are the basic challenges that are happening with public school education?
Well, I would first have to say, yes, public education is struggling, but we must also keep in mind, and I underscore this for people, when they compare public school education to charter schools or private schools, and then gloat about how much more advanced or how much better those schools might be, I always ask them, well, do they serve everyone? And so what I mean by that is, when you're talking a private school, let's say you have a student with Down syndrome, or you have a student who won't come to class, or who doesn't come to school, who skips school. Well, if you're a private school, you have the choice to keep that student or kick them out. And when you kick them out, where do they go? to public school.
Come back to
And
me.
so, with that being said, public schools have the challenge of meeting the needs of everyone in society. We cannot cherry pick who we are going to serve and who we are not going to serve. And so, in that regard, we do have a struggle because our solution cannot be to kick them out. Our solution cannot be to move them to another school. And so, with that being said, we have to come up with ways to serve the needs of everyone there, our brown students, our special needs students, our disabled students, our students who are Black, our immigrant students. We have to serve everybody, no questions asked, no excuses. And
So
so, mhm.
go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off because you're about to
No,
say
no,
something
no,
good right there. I'm like,
no.
so look, we know we have to do that. And
Mhm.
we continue to do it the same way it was done since like I'm going to say early 1900s when it was, wow, public school, because public school wasn't always there. Free school wasn't always there. It's a privilege to have free school, right? Many countries don't have it. You have to pay. So I am not taking away from the blessing. And, we have an opportunity to educate our child. It's like it's a right for us to have that. And many countries do not have that. So I won't take that away from us. What are some creative things that, like, just from your level of theory, that we could be doing to transform the system to make it a little less challenging for teachers who want to stay and work, to make it make sense for the smart and gifted student, alongside the ESE student, alongside, the child who doesn't want to come to school, alongside the fighter? Like, what can we do creatively, or what is being done to actually solve this? Or is it going to be solved? Or are we going to all end up homeschooling our kids? Question mark.
Well, I think the COVID crisis has proven no, we're not all going to end up homeschooling our children. I think our society has grown a whole new respect for what it means to run an education program. So, but what I will say is, I would break this down. First, let's talk about what we can do as individuals. As individuals, this COVID crisis has really given, especially the Black community, the opportunity to engage in children's education like never before. So parents are looking at the curriculum, seeing what the teachers are teaching in the class in their own homes. And some of them have been saying, I don't like this. I don't know if you've seen quite a few YouTube videos where parents are going off in the classes.
Yeah.
And so this might seem like it's a struggle or a conflict, but for me, I was like, there goes the solution. So this COVID-19 crisis has turned into an opportunity for us to re-engage in the education of our children. Now, what I think this could move us into is into an era of what I'm calling hybrid education. So there's several things we'll have to do to get there and to improve our education system. It hasn't changed. And that's a problem, especially for the Black community, because the entire education system was set up on a Eurocentric model.
Yeah.
It was also set up in a way that is not particularly conducive to Black and Brown learning. In particular, let's talk about some specifics. When we deal with social science, they always tell you the winners write history. And so those textbooks, many of them come from Texas, which is the major publisher or major area where most textbooks come from. Well, they do things like call slavery the spice trade in those books. And so from the very beginning, our children and children who are not our children in terms of skin color, they are learning incorrect information. And so those children who learn incorrect information become adults who have cognitive dissonance about the incorrect information they learned 20 years ago.
Well, I feel like what ends up happening with that, you have a child who goes, well, blacks are just lazy in this country and they don't work hard. I mean, because look at me. I've done fine. I've done work. I've done this, without understanding the historical implication of systematic racism or oppression or slavery, and that it's all
That's
still
right.
connected. You know, I don't know why we'd want. I mean, I can understand why a power structure would want, you know, youth to grow up in that way, but it's not healthy for the America that is now. For that, but go ahead, give me another specific. I just want to throw that in there.
Another specific is the discipline system within our school system. So it's very school to prison pipeline-ish in that you do an infraction or you commit an infraction, as they say. It's some of the same terminology that they end up using in prison. You commit this infraction at school, you go to the head honchos, they give you a punishment, and you know, go on about and complete your punishment. Sometimes the school resource officer is called in for some of those infractions, and then there are consequences outside of school that you also must contend with. I have always questioned, why is this the system within our school system that we handle students? Are they not children? Are they not there to learn? Not only academically, but socially and psychologically, we should be developing them. And so when you have a student who perhaps gets in a fight with another student, should the answer be suspension, or should we have a mindfulness class? Should we have counselors come in? Should we restructure the system by which we take them through once they have a disciplinary infraction? And I could completely see a structure in which you are referred to a counselor to talk about why you might be having anger issues, to work through mindfulness exercises, to learn yoga. There was a school, I can't quite remember the name, who implemented yoga in this inner city school to send students who got into trouble, and voila, just like that, they saw a drastic decrease in disciplinary referrals. So sometimes it's just that the students who you're working with don't have the skill set and the tools, they have not learned them within their own families to handle anger, to handle mistrust, to handle academic rigor or stress. And so we should be teaching that along with the academics.
Can we do this? Because it sounds like you just talked about a private charter school. That's what it sounds like. But are you telling me there are ways with the resources that we currently have or don't that we could implement these options in a Title I, in a school district where, you know, there's not a lot of home ownership, so those students aren't getting a lot of money? Is it realistic that we could transform the schools that we're in just with small creative solutions and not more budget? Is this possible? Because I can hear my administrators going on in my head right now. Ms. Thomas, you know, we don't have the resources for that. Who's going to teach yoga? We need them to sit here. The counselor's over here. Somebody just got into another fight in the, you know, the cafeteria. Like, I can hear it and I just woo. So is this a realistic option for it? And have you seen in any of your research where public schools or underserved places are doing this work and it's working?
That, yes, absolutely. Let me say yes. And you touched on something that is another change that needs to happen. That is, first, let me touch on the fact that property taxes determine the funding that go to all schools. So what you see is that Title I schools, per se, tend to be in those neighborhoods where there's less home ownership, and thus those particular schools do not get as much funding as a school that might be in a more upper class neighborhood. That's one of the first things that needs to change. We know that education is run on a state level, not a national level. And so as a state, it would be an extremely uphill battle, but something that we should fight for, to change the funding structure so that that wealth that is accumulated from property taxes is more equally or equitably spread out among the schools. And to go back to what we're talking about, is this possible in a structure that is public, where there's limited resources? When we think about resources, a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking of resources in terms of capital, money. While that is a major, major, major resource, we have to add in people and community. And so some of the ways that schools have gotten around this barrier: grants, grants, grants. They have applied for grants to bring these structures in. They have also created parent groups that help recruit people within the community who are willing to do these types of things for free. I know for a great number of years, I volunteered for about 3 years to teach a class on etiquette to young Black and brown girls for the Boca Raton Police Athletic Association. And I just did that because that's my passion. That's where I wanted to put my extra energy into those students. And so I don't think, as public school servants, we do as good of a job as we can finding those resources outside of the government giving us FTE money and funding for our students. So we have to take it wherever we can get it from. And if that means partnering with local businesses and or nonprofits and bringing them into the fold, getting individuals and parents that want to help run a parent association that will find volunteers for this particular thing. There are so many things we can do to run these programs, but what we tend to do is spend more money on school resource officers, of course, because we've had lots of school shootings. But I noticed right after the Stoneman Douglas shooting, there was this huge mandate to have more police officers and get that in there. And we don't care what resources it takes. Let's have that same energy and same fervor for saving the lives and putting our students on the school to college pipeline or school to trade school pipeline instead of the school to prison pipeline. For me, it's just as urgent.
Oh, okay. She's preaching right now. Okay. So we go like someone said, it sounds radical when you say defund the police, but we've been doing it to public school for the last 30 years. So we've been defunding one portion and we pretend like they don't correlate with each other, and they do, right? The less education, more poverty, crime needs police. It's a circle, everybody. It's a circle. And if we start focusing on those social programs, then we can actually do that. I have one more question from you. And I heard so many great things from you, Dr. Harrison. Thank you so much for being here. Our resources, leadership, getting out to community businesses, getting out and using social capital, as opposed to we have money or we don't have enough money to do that. Find a yoga teacher or 2 or 5. So you have yoga 5 days a week. Volunteered style. Boom, just like that. I heard it. Advocate in your community using those community resources. That parent who's gung-ho and loves doing things, let them plan some fundraisers. Let them build some programs with the kids. What else did I hear? Grant writers. So maybe admin doesn't have time, but again, calling out for your community to help. Find that leader, and I'm speaking directly to leadership, right? Because instructional staff, they're busy instructing, and let me say ownership. I took ownership of my classroom. I made it beautiful. I cleaned it up every day. I did what I had to do. I treated it like an entrepreneur because everybody's busy. And we'll just say that everybody's busy. So I treat it like a business. Treat your classroom the same way. If you need something, let your parents help you, let those people help you. And now this is the question that I say, because this is where I go, you know what, Dr. Harrison, I don't have time to wait for public school to catch up, for property taxes to catch up. And I have some friends who go, Ashley, I'm not for this. Charter schools are a thing in Florida right now. Charter schools are a thing. And there are people who are capitalizing off off of that opportunity. And I heard you at the very beginning, charter schools can choose who they want, right? I go, is it possible? Is this a possible like breath in the system, a moment in the system where Black communities could actually own the educational system, but through charter? Is it possible? Would we be doing the same thing? Will we not be accepting all of the students? Like, is it possible for someone who understands the power of charter to transform the educational system, or is that a pipe dream? And that's my last question to you.
What was the last part, or is it what?
Is it a pipe dream for someone to think that charter will actually resolve the challenges we have in public school?
Well, I actually think the answer is an and. So while I do believe there is a niche and a population of students that can resolve issues or their struggles through charter, I don't think it is the answer. Meaning, oh, if we just go to charter, everything's going to be okay. Because here is the reality. When you set up a charter school, I used to teach at a charter school. And what people don't understand about charter schools, they are, I call them partially public, partially private, right? The private part is they can set a mission and then ask that the students who go there rise to that mission. But the public part is the funding. They do get partial funding from the public schools, as well as oversight from the school boards in the counties in which they're in. With that being said, we have the opportunity to create missions and curriculum that cater to the needs of our particular students, as well as disciplinary structures that cater to the needs of our students. But here's the reality. You know that saying in church, in Black churches, I'm gonna meet you where you are.
Yeah.
The reality is there are students who will never get to the front door of any charter school you build. You got to meet them where they are. And so I would contend that a multifaceted approach needs to be taken. Let's do charters. If you're a Black or brown and you have the idea to create a curriculum that helps more Black and brown students, do it. Let's get other like-minded people together to make that happen. But also, what about magnets? Magnets go within public schools. So that's another structure that we don't talk that much about, but I taught at a Title I middle school in which they had a magnet program within the middle school so that those students who were gifted in that Black and brown school, they had an entire wing of the school just to hone their skill set, increase the rigor of the curriculum, and move them in the direction they needed to go to. So charter, magnet, and the last one I'm going to say is hybrid.
Yeah.
So since we have moved to online schooling for now, and maybe possibly going back in this month now, October, I've been pondering hybrid school. So I have quite a few students who have said, I'm not going back, I'm going to stay online. And then there's another group of students who are like, I'll do partially online and then home the rest of the day. So that got me to thinking. I was like, we can take control of our child's and our children's education if we have them do a hybrid model of school. Perhaps they do some structured, and then the other piece is you as a parent or you as a community leader helping those parents get their children out to museums and places that you want them to see in order to create a whole education.
I love it. I love it. I'm inspired. Education inspires me. Arts inspire me. And when I hear both of them kind of having a place together, it gets my wheels tinkering. So I love the sound of hybrid, charters, magnets, gifted, all of it together. Everybody, please, please, please don't wait for the school to call you. Like, if you have time, volunteer some of your time. That's what I'm hearing. All of the administrators, all the teachers are busy trying to take care of your children and make sure they get the best education. If you know you have made it, come back and serve. Give 6 months of your life and time and serve an educational system, because that is really the only way I'm hearing right now that we can start the process now, while we work on property taxes changing, while we work on building charters. That is a long-term goal. So some of those things right now is social capital. Thank you, Dr. Harrison, for being with us. You can follow her on Instagram if you'd like to get to know her, Dr. Jamonique. Right there you go. You can follow her there. We appreciate you. Thank you for being on for the show, and we will be keeping up with your journey.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Our educators out there, I hope you're getting some nuggets from Dr. Harrison on things you can do for your classroom. And my peoples out there, my community, my businesses, I'm talking to myself too. You got to remember, adopt a school. If you are a nonprofit or you do fun and entertaining things, or you're a restaurant, adopt a school and find out their needs. And don't just give money, like find a way to create a resource that that school might need, that those children can benefit from as we grow and create space for ourselves. We want ownership over our curriculum. We got to find it. We got to teach. We want our kids to know real history. We have to find people who are doing that until the curriculum changes. Let's not wait another 30 years and have 30 years more of misinformation in this country. We can quell some of these racial tensions that we have if only we taught the kids from the beginning the real truths about our country. All right. Thank you so much for getting to education. We're going to bring in a little bit of art. Like I said, Muse isn't Muse without a little bit of art here. So I want to introduce a guest. He actually got to see some of his work recently, and he's been exhibited with Muse in the past, Mr. Jamal Clark, aka Visualist. He's from Philadelphia, and he currently resides here in South Florida. His infinite body of work draws inspiration from ancient Egypt, Kemet, and 90s era hip hop to everyday life on the streets of Philly, infused with high energy art movement of present day Miami. His work conveys vivid depictions of the world around him, parallel to the visions of the reality he's created in his mind. He's very poetic, as you can see. His moniker, Visualist, is cerebral and is rooted in raw feeling, emotion, and ethereal visions. Please welcome Mr. Jamal Clark, aka Visualist,
Peace.
to our platform. Hi, Jamal. How are you?
I'm good. How's everything?
Everything's great. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're getting into the conversation. I want people to get to know you. I've got to see some of your work. We're going to share some of your work as well. Tell us, I don't know, people do this to you, be like, Philly in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Do people do that to you here?
I mean, they used to when I was younger.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm lame.
Other parts.
I can't help it. So tell us, like, your journey from Philly to Miami, where that happened as an artist. And you heard us, we're talking about education and school. Where'd you go to school? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into art?
As far as art, it goes way back. I started doing art when I was a young kid, maybe about ages 6, 7, kindergarten. Remember drawing G.I. Joe men, tracing them, coloring them with crayons, Crayola, and then it just kept elevating. My mother noticed it, so she started enrolling me in after school programs, Saturday classes, anything to nurture that talent that she picked up in her son, one of her sons, and I liked it, and I wanted to learn how to do different types of art, from painting to drawing, experimenting with clay, learning how to sculpt later on, and just keep going. It's never ending, the art world, and I had a good foundation for it, and it just.
So they always go, you know, like art. When you think about art for art's sake, when they talk about visual art and things like that, they will either go like, oh, the art student, you know, was always the student who was, you know, the child in the background or that performer who may have had a challenge. I don't know if he's still with us right now. He'll come right back. We're actually going to show some of Jamal's work so you guys can get familiar with his artwork, and we can highlight him on the show. So Miss Natasha, if you have a few of those pieces, let's go ahead and put them on the screen, and we'll kind of go through some of his work. He talks about Kemet or ancient Egypt being a part of his inspiration. So we're just going to look at the vibrant colors used by Jamal. You can see he's putting the yin and the yang together. I don't want to put words in his, you know, in his work, but I know what it makes me feel from the sun and the moon and that power as well. So being from Philadelphia, my questions always are like, like, what is school like in Philadelphia? What was it like for you as an artist? Here we see some of his photography. We'll go ahead and let some of those pieces just beautifully go around there. We're highlighting visual artist Jamal Clark today. And as you look at those images, I'm just going to let you know who he is if you're just logging in. He's AKA Visualist from Philadelphia, currently residing here. As I mentioned, his work is inspired by ancient Egypt, and he infuses like 90 eras hip hop in his work. He likes to use some of those vibrant, beautiful landscapes from South Florida, the ocean, the Yemayas, and all those beautiful, beautiful spaces to energize his work as well. So if you don't know him, you're getting to know him. You can follow him, I believe, at Visualist. Let's put his handle up so that you can see more of his work, just his handle. If we have his Instagram handle, so you can follow him at Visualist412. You can look up more of his work at visualiststore.com. His name's Jamal Clark. We love his work. And we want to make sure we give a shout out to an artist every single time we're on this show. We're having this show so you can get to know the local artist here in Miami. You saw that last image was a beautiful woman on the beach, you know. And so the one of the things that I think is great, so you see that beautiful image, is the next person that we have on that we're highlighting is all about the water. It's all about the water and all about the beauty of the mermaid. So we love to highlight a vendor who's rocking out, doing great things. And today we are going to highlight Afro Mermaid. This wear is founded by Melanie Schneider. It's a mermaid themed clothing brand for Afro mermaids. The company gives representation to Black water lovers, such as beachgoers, swimmers, surfers, divers, and beyond. Afro Mermaid looks forward to creating initiatives for ocean preservation and drowning prevention in the Black community. Everyone, welcome Miss Melanie Schneider to the show, founder of Afro Mermaid. Hello, Melanie. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so honored to have you on the show. I said like you were at one of the marketplaces that we do every second and fourth Sunday.
Yes.
And you told such a beautiful story that I hope you will share with the audience. But before we go there, Melanie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? Are you native? Are you transplant? Are you like, who is Melanie, aka Afro Mermaid?
Okay.
Yes.
So I was born in Miami. My family is from here. My father is from the Virgin Islands. I went to school here. I'm actually an educator myself.
Oh, good.
Which was funny because the conversation with Dr. Harris, it was just, I'm here.
Perfect, right? Yes, you're like
exactly. I'm like, I see y'all. So I am an assistant director at a preschool. And education has been such an important role in my life. Mm-hmm. It's so important to make sure that we teach our youth and that we continue to learn ourselves so that we can further teach others.
Yeah.
So my long-term goal is to actually open up my own school. I would like to have a chain of schools. I want to start at preschools and then go up to elementary and middle school to continue to educate and teach our people how to love ourselves and how to communicate better. And, you know, sometimes it's more than just math and reading. And
So all of that stuff like integrates together. Exactly. So when I go, it's like, I'm running a business. I've created a business in space like this, but it's because I had the arts in school and I had creative spaces. And so I can only imagine education inspiring or like it being like a part of an influence of like knowing how to even start a business, or how, like, I'm going to go into a question with that. Like, you go from an educator, like, how does Afro Mermaid come into existence? What is the inspiration?
So growing up, I've always heard these stories about mermaids and sirens and the mysticness of them. I've heard about Yemaya, Mami Wata, all these stories. But growing up, I never saw any mermaids that looked like me. They never had straight hair. Like, well, they always had straight hair. They didn't have these luscious curls.
Yes.
They didn't have braids. They didn't have locks. They didn't have shortcuts. None of them looked like me. Even the Black mermaids that they do portray on TV, they all have straight, long, flowy hair. And that's not my reality. And
Little Barbie dipped in chocolate.
Right. Exactly. So at some point, I just decided, like, you know what? I need to do this for us. I'm going to be my own resource, because growing up, I always loved mermaids. I always loved the mysticness of them. I love the stories about them, but I've never seen a mermaid that I can relate to and actually be like, that's me. I'm that mermaid. So now that I'm an adult and I see so many children that look like me, love mermaids too, and I see them rocking their mermaid shirts and they're all white mermaids. They don't look like us at all. So I'm just like, you know what? I need to do something for us. I need to do something that I love. There's so many women out here. Like, my page, I'm finding new mermaids all over the place. And
Come on.
Existed. Black swimmers, Black surfers. Like, there's so many of us out there, and we don't even know that each other exists, because we're continuously being told that
we're only one. We're that token.
Exactly. We can't swim. Swim. We can't get our hair wet, and it's ridiculous. It's just like, it's not my truth.
So this is beautiful, because what I heard in that sentence, and it's so powerful, this mythological creature, it's breaking all of the myths around Blacks in water. So you just said it. So it's like, it's a myth that you can't, get your hair wet, that we don't get our hair wet. Yes, we do. It's a myth that we don't swim. Yes, we do. Is it, can we have more representation in those fields? Well, you're doing that work. You're doing it. So with a mythical creature. Yes. Like, how powerful is that?
Because I've always felt like this is something that we were taught, and this it all ties into the educational system. We were taught to hate ourselves. We were taught to not be confident. We were taught that we can't swim. We're taught to fear the water. My mother to this day will not get into the water. Or she will, but she's like, okay, not above my neck. And I'm like, oh, let's go. You better get into this water.
So it's a bad joke, but someone said, like that transatlantic slave, trip, Black people were like, I'm traumatized. We're not going back to any ocean again. Bad joke, guys. Bad joke.
But it does. It runs deep. It does run deep. Because when we finally were here and we were supposedly free, they were banning us from beaches and swimming pools. So for years and years, we weren't able to even get in pools or even go near big bodies of water. So we've acquired this fear that we just
it's not for me.
Yeah, it's
so,
not us.
So I love what you're doing. It's powerful, because what we say here on our Juneteenth playback is like, we are going we're going to demystify everything around us. So we're going to make it real. We're going to be represented. We're going to use our power. Yes. So tell us about Afro Mermaid, some of the pieces that we can get, what the wear is like, how does it feel, like what is our cost range, and where do we find it?
Okay, so let me adjust my phone really quick. It's trying to fall on me. But one of the tops that I'm wearing, this top that I'm wearing right now, is actually my favorite piece. I feel like it fits very nicely. This is a crop top, and the sleeves are like very flowy.
Ooh, that is cute.
It's very nice, and it's good in cold weather. It's good in hot weather. Like, this material, it's a blend, so it's very nice. Price ranges from $5 to $120.
Yeah,
depending on what you want to spend. I have t-shirts with a little like Black mermaid on there.
Cute.
I also have Afro caps, because we don't want to hide our hair.
Yes.
Show it.
You understand my pain. Yes. I want my hair out.
And I have like a little hook on it to resemble the mermaid. They're really nice. Like, they're really nice. I made all of these things with intention, because I want us to be proud of who we are. I want us to show our hair. I want us to bare our skin. I want people to know that we're here and we're not sorry for it. Like, we're here and you just want to deal with it, like it or not.
We're here and we're proud and we're here with the water. And I said, you feel my pain. I want to take that back. I want to say, you understand my beauty. Yes. You understand that I need a hat to show off all of this crown.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. I want to tell you guys, she was out, Afro Mermaid was with us at our Muse Open Air Market. It happens every second and fourth Sunday. So the next one's October 11th. I hope they will be catching you at the open air market again in October. Yes, definitely. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, 3 to 8 p.m. But you can also find her online. You can find all of her wear online. Somebody behind the scenes is like, is a mermaid included with their purchase? Of course. The logo. Let's not be funny here, right?
Yes.
So you can find her at afromermaid.co or follow her on afromermaid.equid.com. You can purchase there. Just leave us with a little bit of inspiration, like for anyone who's thinking about starting a business, like your way into this, and what is something you've learned, and what would you pass on to someone who's going, I have a vision for something and I want to bring it into the world. What quick advice would you give them?
My advice would simply to be, just don't give up. Because I haven't made it yet. I'm not going to be like, yeah, girl, I got everything. Like, I'm still working on it myself and I'm learning every single day. It's literally a process. It's hard. It's tiring. And it is not fun and giggles all the time. Like, it's very tiring, but it's worth it, because when I see children's faces, when they see me as a mermaid, or when I see even adults' faces and they're like, yes, Afro Mermaid, I've never seen that before. It feels so good, because I know that I'm doing something for my community. I know that I'm uplifting my people. I know that I'm bringing something that nobody has ever seen before. I'm bringing that confidence. There was a time where I had a student and she's like, Miss Melanie, I don't like my hair. I wish it was straight. I wish it was straight like hers. And I'm just like, your hair is different. Look around. Nobody else has hair like you. Like this is nice hair. Like, and for a while I realized her own insecurities, and I was like uplifting her every day. Like, girl, look at your curls popping. Like, and I had to and now she's like, Miss Melanie, do you like my hair? I'm a mermaid. I'm an Afro mermaid like you. And I'm like, yes, you are. Yes.
That is beautiful. To see my teacher, like to see a teacher who also has hair like me, has that curl. Exactly. And then to create a character that I can relate to and go, wow, I'm a mermaid too. I'm special. I'm magical.
Exactly.
This is what myself and my co-partner, my co-founder, Bart, who runs Muse with me, who's amazing. We always say, like, what does advocacy look like? This is what it looks like. Yes. When you can create something that people can take away and feel inspired and feel pride and confident about themselves. That is true advocacy. You're making a change. You're not fighting against a system and say, boom, boom, boom. You're saying, no, I'm going to create space. And that's what you did. Exactly. Melanie, we're so happy to meet you. We're so honored to meet you. That's Afro Mermaid. Go and check her out, afromermaid.equid.com or afromermaid.co. Yes. Follow her on IG everywhere, Afro Mermaid. I think those things are flipped. So Afro Mermaid. Bye, Melanie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can check her out at the Muse Open Air Market. So we have an open air market that goes every second and fourth Sunday. This October 11th is National Coming Out Day. So we will be celebrating with the LGBTQ community. So you guys can come out, all allies, and have a great Pride Day with us on October 11th. And October, I believe, is 24th or 27th. That fourth Sunday, we'll be back with all things nature, celebrating Sir Lancelot Jones, who is a pioneer who saved Biscayne National Park, and he's African American. If you don't know the story, go ahead and look it up. Sir Lancelot Jones Day in South Florida. We got Jamal back. I want to just bring him back one more time, just so you guys can see him one more time. He can talk to you just a little bit about who he is, where he's from. A quick shout out as a visualist and where you can find him. Can I get Jamal on my screen, and maybe even one of his pieces? Maybe he can tell us about one piece. Jamal.
Hey, how you doing? I'm back.
I love it. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we showed some of your work, some of that beautiful work, and I'll see if our producer can get one of those pieces on so you can tell us about your work. So you were talking about art, you were talking about education, you were talking about just really being honed in your skill, right? So this is a show is about education, and what impact did art have on your life growing up? And I mean, I know you'd be like, clearly, right? But I mean, from the education system, like from an academic standpoint, did it make you enjoy academics? Were you always into your academic space? Was art the only place that you found solace? Were you able to integrate them together? So what impact did it have on your like academic journey?
It had a lot. It took me places. Art was always there. It was something that was an escape for me. It was my comfort zone. It was something I did when I didn't want to do my homework. Something that I look forward to doing when I was finished with my homework. I made a lot of good friends, lifelong friends through art. Got into a lot of arguments with teachers over art.
So you're one of those. You're like, hold on, rebel from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had my moments. I had my moments.
I love it. I love it.
School and in college.
Look, creators always are what we call them vanguards. You know, you push the mold in that tradition forward.
Absolutely.
So I have a piece here that we're looking at. Tell us a little bit about what this piece is, your inspiration behind it. I see a few things going on here, but I want to hear it from, I see a lot of things going on here, actually. What inspired this piece, and tell us what's happening here?
This piece is basically a representation of energy, masculine and feminine energy. I chose to use green as one of my favorite colors, and the orange just because it's so vibrant. And then of course I have the king and the queen aspect, Akhenaten and Nefertiti, representing there, kind of resembles King Tut as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to show that connection between man and woman, and that energy that's that continuous energy flow that that's created from those two, from man and woman, king and queen.
King and queen. I see spiritual entities or beings. So there's this beautiful black energy that's flowing between them. Am I making it up, or are there people or bodies or shapes inside of those spaces?
That all of that. It's from me, the person who painted it, it's supposed to represent the universe, celestial bodies or whatever. And if that's what you're seeing in it, then yeah, that's there's no right or wrong answer. I'll definitely we can build on that.
I love it. So universe. So this is where go like you guys like the viewer makes the meaning, right? So it's like, oh, I see the powerful celestial beings and like the things that we create from this energy.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very powerful. Jamal, I want to thank you for being here with us today. Please tell people how they can find you and how they can support your work.
You can support my work at on Instagram, of course, Visualist 412 and Visualist Art, and also you can check out my website, visualiststore.com. That's where I have the prints available, the canvas prints, the hoodies, t-shirts, and a lot of other merchandise coming, and they're already available.
I love it. Jamal Visualist, he also came out to one of our open air markets, so you also can catch him around the city if you want to see him physically. So just follow him, DM him, guys. Support our artists. They're out here, they're working, they're building beauty, they're capturing history. The beauty, the image with the boys. Oh my gosh, that was very powerful. Like I felt it as soon as I saw it on camera again. We don't have time, so if y'all want to learn about the piece, you need to go and follow him on Instagram and ask him all about it. I might be hitting you up because
okay.
Yeah, that touched me. Thank you for being with us, Jamal.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
You guys, you are here at the Juneteenth Digital Playback. My name is Ashley Thomas, co-founder of Muse. We are the Miami Urban Contemporary Experience, working to ensure that, culture is preserved, that is shared, that it's communal and that it's celebrated. We're going to bring on our final guest for the night, a performance for you. Got a treat for you. Yes, we do. Lyric Ty Stevens. So Lyric's going to come on for a wonderful performance. You're going to get to meet her. Serves as an RCC facilitator at Soul Sisters Leadership Collective. I know the founder of that organization, so I know Lyric is bomb, okay, because it's a powerful organization. She's passionate about restorative justice, art, music, and mental health and wellness. Ty is trained in restorative community conferencing, and as directly that directly impacts people of color. Is a strength and supporter of prison reform and transformative justice. Ty is also a singer, songwriter, and actress, an entrepreneur born and raised in the county of Dade, y'all. Let's welcome Miss Lyric Ty to the show. Hello, Lyric Ty. You looking beautiful. Let me get that mic unmuted. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, if y'all know what my life has been like in the last couple of hours, man.
But you're here.
I am here.
You're
man.
here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. It's nice to finally meet you. I think we've met before because Soul Sisters, we did
yes,
Black Girls Design Camp at Muse.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was in quick passing, and then Juneteenth happened, and I said the ancestors cried.
Yes.
You know, but look what came out of this. We were able to do 9 of these shows, 9 of these series, feature all of the artists that'll be able to share, you know, the information over and over again. So Lyric, I'm gonna give you the floor. You're giving us a nice, beautiful closing performance, and then we'll talk a little bit about, you know, who you are, where you're from. I know you're from Miami, and how we can support you. So Lyric, take it away.
Man, I had a whole little set that I wanted to do. I wanted to do it at the studio, but I'm kind of just gonna vibe right now. I'm gonna sing a song that's like close to my heart. In these times that we're in, the social climate that we're in, man. Southern trees bearing strange fruit, blood on the leaves, and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Pastoral scenes of the gallant South. Them big bulging eyes and twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, clean and fresh. And the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the wind to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the leaves to dry. Here's a strange Here's a strange and bitter cry. I'd have my background singers singing strange and bitter, strange and bitter, strange and bitter fruit.
Booking a family vacation. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my God, I am in tears. Lyric Ty, okay. First of all, thank you so much. Some of the comments on here is like, the ancestors are making themselves known. We have all been carried. That is beautiful. Your soul, spirit. Thank you for sharing that gift with us. Girl, you touch me now.
Listen, every time I sing that song, man, I think about like our brothers and sisters that's like in these prisons, man, in these systems, in these institutions, you know, and strange and bitter fruit, man.
Yeah,
that's a hanging.
Yeah,
it's a hanging when you put our people in there like that. It's a hanging.
I feel like, we have been blessed with the ability to express our struggle and our pain and this hostile environment that you live in. Like, how do you express what's happening to you? And so thank you for the Nina Simones. Thank you for the Lyric Ties, for being our voice, because that's what you are. You are healing and you are a safe space for us to be able to mourn, you know? I want to just give us a little bit of background. You know, how'd you get into music? And our show, we're gonna wrap it up really shortly, but I just want people to get to know you a little bit. And I'm gonna invite you to perform out at the Muse campus. We got a little space for you, okay? At Live at the Room, baby. We set it up for you. We have it set up.
I'm the creative director. Not only do I work with Soul Sisters Leadership Collective as a restorative community conferencing facilitator, and I know a lot of people may not know what that is, but if you just look it up, you'll find that it is something that we need. You know, we need more restorative practitioners or facilitators so that we can start to restore some of the repair, some of the harm that's been done to us, to others, to our people, you know. Aside from that, you speaking about Muse, me and my cousin were just talking about y'all the other day because the gentleman that owns it, he and I were actually in this incubator together because both of us had been locked up some years ago. And man, I started doing music at 14. And I talk about it pretty openly now. You would think that it's not a big deal, but I was molested most of my youth. You know what I'm saying? And that does something to you mentally. You know what I'm saying? You can't really put all of it on, you know, acting out and things of that nature. But the truth of the matter is, it's just that, you know, we're all human. You know, some of us consider ourselves spiritual beings having human experiences here. And we're all trying to figure it out, you know. So, I mean, not making excuses for anything. I've done my things, you know, and I repair harm every day, you know. I work with the youth. Again, I work with Soul Sisters, and we get to work with young Black and brown women and girls, transgender, non-conforming, non-binary. Like, we work with the youth, and we're trying to keep them from having to go in those prisons and jails, man, because there are things that we can do to where it doesn't have to be that. You know, like I went to prison I was at Clark in Atlanta. You know, I came here on vacation. You know, I was in the legal management program all 4 years at Miami Carey City Senior High School. Like, you know, dual enrollment at St. Thomas University. I went off to college. My granddad and my mom drove me up there, and I came home on vacation, lied to my mom, told her, you know, that I had came back to school and I was here going and doing stuff. I mean,
that's
a
story.
They sent me to prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You hear me? I have no priors. I ain't never been in no trouble, and they shipped me there. If it was a poster child for school to prison pipeline, I might have been it. I was 19 years old.
Wow.
No priors, and I'm just in the work now, man. I'm in the work. And I just care about, freedom. I care about liberation. I care about us being able to repair what can be repaired, and people are salvageable.
Well, what I think is a powerful thing that you just said here, no priors. This student, you go like, ideal student, and then this system is set up to prevent you from moving forward. It's set up to prevent you to do that. But this is what we'll say to that is, like, our culture is always resilient. You see the resilience, that this does not stop us, or like that it does not frame who we are, our identity. It is something that happened, and here you are doing the work. Here you are using your gifts. Here you are advocating. It's almost like, you go like your life and how it's set up. Many of us, have been, victims of sexual abuse, and it is affected all of us in different ways. So it's like the story that you're telling is so powerful. More people need to hear it. She doesn't know it yet, but Lyric Ty is going to be live at the Room on October 11th on Sunday. She's like, it's at the Muse campus.
Bro,
that's right.
Me and my cousin were just talking about it, because I'm also the creative director of the Art and Soul Love Movement. It's our own not-for-profit, and we were talking about how we wanted to do creative pieces in an open space.
Come to us, baby. Come to us.
We just talking about this literally on my birthday, which was Sunday. We were just talking about this.
You see how
about Muse, man.
The universe is bringing us all together.
And the ancestors,
yes, the ancestors are bringing us all together. The entire place. She's going to be with us October 11th. We're going to get off this call and make it happen. Lyric Ty. Follow her. She'll be at the open air market. You see it there. Second and fourth Sunday. She's going to be at our second one, October 11th. There's a performance in the Room. You're going to learn about it. You're like, hold on, Ashley. I'm saying it right now. So she'll be like, wait, I saw those eyes. But don't worry.
I'm actually running the dates in my head.
Don't worry. That's right. You'll be like, boom, put it here. It's going to be a birthday celebration. I can already feel it. We're going to put it up. Lyric Ty. Follow her on all social media at Lyric Ty. Thank you for blessing this. It is such a perfect closing right now. Right. This is the final Juneteenth playback. We've done 9 of these shows, and this is the last one. So thank you for closing out such a powerful series. Your voice is unique. It's powerful. You are magnificent, and I am so happy and honored to meet you, and I cannot wait. To see and everything that you are.
Thank y'all for having me. Peace, man, and just peace and solidarity. We're all Black and brown people. I'm for all y'all.
She said it. Peace and solidarity. Thank you, Lyric Ty. Thank you for being here with us. Oh, this was such an amazing journey. I am so honored to have been able to host this journey, Juneteenth playback. We've done, like I said, I keep saying it, 9 of these. I want to say thank you to our producer in the background, the Diamond Butterfly. She is heaven sent, and thebomb.com. If you don't know her, you need to follow her. But don't try to take her from me, y'all, because she's amazing. She's amazing. I know, Tasha. I know in the background. Thank you, Dr. Harrison. Thank you, Jamal. Thank you, Lyric Ty, for being here. Hello, Patricia. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. I just want to say, we love our vendors. So it's not like we highlight them sometimes. This is Carola's, okay? So their vendors, these beautiful earrings that you see, statement pieces. I got this one. Her name's in here. Natasha actually bought me one of these for a gift, and I keep buying more of these journals. Latham Wick, I'm Rolling Roots Collective, and I didn't do this for the show. It's just how we roll over at Muse, Miami Urban Contemporary Experience. It's collaborative, it's community, it's cooperative work in economics, it's self-determination. We're all of that, and so are you. And we're bringing these things to our community because no one's coming to save us but us, y'all. No one's coming to save us but us. We can go to other countries, we can go to other places, but this is our home. And we need to create a safe space for ourselves right here. Other people welcome, celebrate, honor, allies with us. But like every other community creates that safe space for themselves, that economic circulation, that is our duty. And this next part of the movement for liberation for Black people. When Black people are free, all people truly are. Every time a law changes, it affects everyone, every single person, in a positive way. My name is Ashley Thomas with Muse, Miami Urban Contemporary Experience. Thank you for being with us, these Juneteenth playbacks. You can watch them back on Facebook at MUCE 305. Have a great evening, everyone.